Hey everyone out in YouTube, it's Lotus Blossom here, and I apologize for the way I look. I have had a very lazy day today, but I thought I'd do a first video for a wig making tutorial request that I had. So for this video, I'm going to make the wig cap that I'm going to glue my fiber onto. So first I start with some white fabric, a rubber band, a paintbrush. Get a cheap one because you're going to probably ruin it, a pair of scissors, and some cling wrap, which is just saran wrap. You can get whatever you want. This stuff we've had forever, so I don't know how much it is, but I can't imagine that it's very much. So yeah, let's get started. So today I'm going to use my Feeble 60 Miyu, who finally got back from her face-up, from getting her face-up done, as my model. So you want to make sure, I'm not going to take this dress off because it was a really inexpensive dress and I don't really care if I get something on it. I don't think I will, I have it in the past, but I always tend to use a lot of cling wrap just to be on the safe side, because I'd rather use too much than not enough. So you start by taking the cling wrap and putting it over the head, and you want to make sure that it's smooth along the head, because that's where you're going to be putting the fabric, and when you use the fabric, oh, you also need Mod Podge. I use matte because when the glue dries, it doesn't show through on the wig. So, yeah, so you want to make sure this is smooth, so when you when you rubber band the fabric down against the doll, that it doesn't have any bumps or anything odd on it. So, I cover the whole doll's head, and then I cut off what I don't want to exist. So, it's really awkward dealing with this much fabric all at once, but I try to pull out the little bits and the little folds that happen naturally. It's going to be kind of impossible to get all the ones around the ear off, but they don't have to be all gone. You just want most of them gone so that when you go to put the glue on, you don't have any awkward places where the fabric is giving, because that's just going to leave awkward places on your doll's wig. So you work around for a while, get the fabric unbunched on it. I use a flat rubber band that I can put glue on that's not going to damage it, so that way it holds the fabric more flat. I always try to make the wig cap too big rather than too small, because you can always cut it down to fit better, but you can't make more of it appear if there isn't enough. So then I cut off. And this fabric, I don't care about cutting a straight line. If you want to cut off a square of fabric before you start so that you have a nice square cut in your fabric, that's fine. I got this fabric on clearance at Hobby Lobby for like 80 cents, so I really don't care. Hobby Lobby is a great resource for cheap fabric because they have scraps that they don't want to throw away that they'll sell for super discounted, and you can use any color of, this is just plain cotton fabric. You can use a lot of different kinds of fabric. I like to use cotton. I like the thickness of it. Some people don't. And I have had somewhat mixed results with it. Sometimes it works better than others, but... And for this one, I'm going to actually put the rubber band over her ears a little bit, just because I want to cut around her ear, and if I have it pre-done, sometimes those rubber bands are too fat, and they don't always work the best because of that. Sometimes I find if I use a doll that has a bigger head than the wig I want, then I get a big enough wig cap for my base, because sometimes my wig caps end a little small. So now I'm going to take my paintbrush. I have a super cheap plastic acrylic fiber, I'm pretty sure this is an acrylic fiber paintbrush. I have nice paintbrushes because I oil paint and all that stuff. Don't use these with this, because if you accidentally forget to wash this with glue on it, it's never going to come out again. So I just have a giant thing of the matte Mod Podge. You don't need very much to make a wig, but I've been going through it because I've made quite a few wigs recently. So I bought a big one because I've already gone through two small bottles of it. So you're going to give the entire fabric on the top of the head that's surrounded by your rubber band a nice thick coat. Let that dry, like really, really let it dry. The top will feel dry after a few minutes because it's a glue, and the top starts to dry faster because it air dries. But the underside will still be wet, and if you touch it and it feels cold at all, it's probably not dry. So just try to be as patient as you can and let the whole thing dry. After you do one layer, I recommend doing 2, sometimes even 3 layers. You want this to be fairly thick. It will still be fabricy when you take it off of the head when you're done. So I recommend, you don't have to take my recommendations, this is just from my own experience, that I recommend that you give it a couple layers, especially if you've got some folds, because if you've got some creases and stuff, you want to make sure that those have a lot of glue in them so they don't give out on you when you take the fabric off the head, because sometimes if you don't have enough glue, they'll just split apart and they'll widen, and your wig cap will become very shapeless and not have enough form to actually hold itself up. Don't be afraid of using a lot of Mod Podge. I know you might want it to dry faster, but it's better to use too much. Make sure you get all the creases. You want to make sure, you can kind of see on this fabric at least, where there's dry spots, like it'll be more textured when the spots where it doesn't have enough Mod Podge. But yeah, sorry if I'm really rambly. I'm just trying to get all this information out before I have to cut the video off. I'm going to try to do this part, and then I'm going to try to come back and show you guys what it looks like when I cut the fabric to fit the head. And that's going to be my base for my wig. And then I'll make more videos explaining my wig making process, which I've tried to film this before and it didn't work very well. So I'm going to try a different process this time and hopefully it'll work. But I'm going to come back when I'm done doing probably 2 layers of Mod Podge, and I'm going to cut the cap out. So, hello, so I'm going to do the cutting of the wig cap now. So I'm going to show you how I take it off, and I'm going to show you how I cut it. Hopefully that I can keep this all in one video under 10 minutes. So I'm going to get my finger under it, and I'm just going to kind of pull it up because it's going to be stuck to the fabric. Sometimes it's easier than others, it depends on how much glue you got on the rubber band. I didn't get a ton of glue on it this time, but there have been times that I have. So, it comes off like that. You can pull the plastic wrap off from it. I tend to leave the plastic wrap on the doll because sometimes the wig cap is not like, there'll be like a spot or something that's still slightly wet, and I tend to want to like keep that from getting on her resin, so I'll leave the plastic wrap on her. But this is what it looks like. It's still soft, it's still like it's still a soft form, but it's not just flowy fabric anymore. So I'm gonna cut up. I recommend using better scissors if you have some. I only have scissors for cutting hair and for this, and like craft scissors, and these are getting pretty ratty. I need to get a new pair of craft scissors. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by following the line of where the glue is, and then I'm going to place it on her head and figure out how I want it to actually sit. So I'm just going to cut along where the glue is, and we'll go from there. I'm also starting to play with some video editing and seeing how that actually can really work. I was trying to play with the video with audio and like how to turn audio up, so I might try to turn the volume up on this video so that you don't have to have your volume on your computer all the way up, because I hate when people do that on YouTube. But I have not learned how to fix it yet, so I'm going to try to fix that. At least on my videos. Kind of new to a lot of stuff, but I thought, since I like making wigs quite a bit, and my wigs aren't the greatest and there are other ways to do it, but I thought I'd show you how I do it. So this is the shape that I currently have. I'm going to slide it back onto my doll's head. Usually you can tell which way it was when you did it, and you want to try to put it back on the way that you did it. And then you want to go through and cut it and figure out how you want it to look. So this is what I've got pre-edited. So I think the back looks pretty good actually. Like I think the line on the back is a pretty good line. But I'm going to fix the little blurb on the front of her head where this is. But that's the only edit I'm going to do this one, I think, is I'm just going to straighten this out. But yeah, so thanks for watching. I'll make another part of the video where I actually glue the fiber onto the cap, but have a good day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!